Hello, dear friends. So, I'm back today with the next part of my video series on management for doctors. As you know, this is a very humble attempt of a doctor, teacher, and hospital administrator. Well, that's me, Dr. Roopam Gupta, to share my little knowledge with you in an attempt to make you more management conscious. Well, the plan today is to discuss planning. Well, if I ask you this silly question, how many times the Taj Mahal was built? Of course, only once. There can never be another one. But wait, think again. Taj Mahal was built two times. At first, it was built on paper or as a plan, as a design, as a layout. Whatever we want to do perfectly or successfully, it has to be planned first and it is then executed. Okay, now it's the New Year season and I decided to throw a party. So I call up Ram and I say, "Hey, I've arranged for a New Year party. All is planned well, everything has been done. Only you please get a box of sweets, yaar. Yes, yes, 2 kgs will be fine. Rest all is well arranged, well planned, don't worry. See you." And then I call up Sita. "Hey, how you doing? I'm throwing a gala party. Yes, I've arranged for just everything. Only one request. Could you get a box of cakes? Yeah. Yes, yes. 2 dozens will be just fine. Chalo, milte hain, huh? Okay, bye. See you at the party." And then I call up another friend, Shyam. "Hey, everything is done. Just get your music system by. There's nothing like that in town. See you at the party." Then I call Lakshman. "Hey, Lakshman, it's a New Year party. All planned, well arranged, everything's on me. Just do one favor, yaar. I wanted that lawn barbecue machine, that new oven you got. Kindly bring it along. Okay, see you at the party." And then so on and so forth. And then comes the time for the party. Well, surprise. Then one obvious question is asked. "Hey, Rupam, but what's your contribution to today's party?" I brought the matchbox. And, well, I planned the party, isn't it? And of course, this cartoon is drawn by me. For those who know me, my old hobby of cartooning, I've tried to use it in this presentation. Planning is just everywhere. You do it unknowingly when you, for a simple thing, take a jump, or for a moment when you plan to have a winning goal. You plan for short term when you make your schedule for studies, for your upcoming exams. And in fact, very learned men sitting in the Niti Ayog also do a lot of planning, but of course, for a larger period and at a global level. Just imagine the use of the word planning, from vacation planning to tax planning to family planning. So, guys, planning is just everywhere, every time, and approximately in everything. So it is very simple, but planning is also very complex. Planning has been defined by this gentleman, Mr. Peter Drucker, also known as the father of modern management. Of course, his definition was that Chatur type of a definition. Planning is a continuous process of making present entrepreneurial decisions systematically and with best possible knowledge of their futurity, organizing systematically the efforts needed to carry out the decisions and measuring the results of these decisions against the expectations through an organized system of feedback. Okay, yes, it's complicated. So I have a simple definition for you. Planning is deciding in advance what to do, when to do, how to do, and simply who does what. So friends, today what we intend is to study about the definition, nature, importance, types, steps and limitations of planning. The nature of planning. Well, planning is always goal oriented or purposive. You have to decide in advance what you want to do, where you want to go. Planning is always the primary function. It is the first initial activity before you do anything else. Planning is pervasive. It is essential at all levels. We shall see that even at the top boss or the middle boss or the first level boss, all have to do planning. Planning is always forward looking or prospective. You can never plan for the past. You can only learn your lessons from the past and look ahead. Planning is a continued activity, updating, modifying. Therefore, we call it a perpetual activity. Planning is taking decisions after evaluation of the choices available or the possibilities. Planning has to be always pliable or flexible. Planning is, of course, forecasting or predicting the future. Well, you will notice a lot of words made bold with P, and that's done with a purpose to make it simple to remember the 8 P's of the nature of planning: purposive, primary, pervasive, prospective, perpetual, possibilities, pliable, and predicting or forecasting. What is the importance of planning? Is it important? Well, I suppose yes. Poor planning leads to poor results. Well, what is the significance or importance of planning? Planning helps to keep focus continuously on the objectives so that the implementation is on the right track, right direction. Planning is an excellent mitigation tool. It offsets the risks as you have prepared your plan, keeping the possible conditions good, bad, or worst. Planning guides decision making. There will be decisions required to be made from time to time, but if the plan is present, it guides the decision making. Planning increases effectiveness or the chances of success. Planning increases efficiency, or we are able to achieve the objectives in the best possible method. Planning promotes and ensures coordination. It is also the basis for control. As in the control function, we are simply comparing the situation with the plan at the pre-decided times. A plan also provides opportunity for innovation and creativity. A plan allows delegation since the actions to be done are already spelt out clearly. Well, we have learnt already that there are levels in the management hierarchy. Okay, please excuse this cartoon which shows the managerial hierarchy quite well. Anyway, so we have organizational levels. We have the top, middle and first level. Now, the types of planning according to the time frame. The long-term planning is done by the top level, intermediate term is done by the middle level, and the short-term planning is done by the first level. Also, the scope of planning, the strategic planning on the top, the tactical planning in the middle, and the operational planning in the first level. In the many ways we classify the planning, use or the frequency of use is an important type. Single use plans and standing plans. Single use plans are for non-recurring conditions where the plan is not needed after the achievement of the goal. Examples are programs and projects. Then you have the standing plans. These are for the recurring situations. These allow for speedy decisions. They have consistency. They provide consistency in the decisions taken. They allow for delegation and they do away with the need of supervision on a continuous basis. Examples are the policies, the procedures, and the rules. Plans are also classified along to the time frame. Long-term plan, intermediate plan, and short-term plan. Long-term plans are the strategic plans having a horizon of greater than 5 years. Intermediate tactical plans are having a time frame of 1 to 5 years, and short-term plans are the operation plan having a time frame of less than 1 year. Now, an important type of plan is the disaster contingency plans. Well, disasters can strike just anywhere, but you have to be prepared with your contingency planned. And of course, never have the running away type of plans. Contingency plan is basically what to do in a disaster situation. These plan helps us to deal with interruption to production, how to deal with disruption in business, how to resume crucial functions once the disaster is over, how to provide assurance to customer to stick around or to remain loyal, how to decrease the financial losses during and just after the disaster. And this plan includes doing mock drills and practice runs. There is also a concept of planning hierarchy. Well, often the words are not used properly or in context. So, to simplify the concept, let's look at it in this way. The vision, mission, and values, they are always concerned with answering the question why. Why the business or organization just exists. The goals and the strategies, these answer the question of how. How do you plan to address your why? And the action plans, they are there to describe what. What are you going to do about your how? An important word often used is strategic planning. Let's see what is this. Strategy is a plan of action designed to achieve a long-term or overall aim. Strategic planning is done by the top management. It is done for the entire organization. It is done after consultation with the board and with the middle levels of management. And it is done with a time horizon of greater than 5 years. It addresses approximately 8 areas: market share, human resource, the financial resources, the physical facilities, the productivity, the profits, the social responsibilities, and of course, the possibilities of innovation. Another term used is tactical plan, of course, often with the military. A tactic is a conceptual action or short series of actions with the aim of achieving a short term goal. Well, tactical plans are short term plans with a time horizon of 1 to 3 years. They are made by the middle management, and these are actions taken by the departments and the units to implement the strategic plan. And these are involved with actually getting the work done. Well, there is a difference between strategy and tactics. You see, strategy is planning, tactics is doing. Strategy is on a large scale, this is on a smaller scale. Strategy is the why, tactics is the how. Strategy is difficult to copy. Tactics are supposed to be copied and pasted. And strategy is long-term frame and tactics are of short-term frame. Then you have the operational plans. These are the steps for day-to-day working. They are plans for a week, month, but always less than 1 year. They are concerned with specific quantitative terms, and there is least risk involved in them. Well, this diagram basically describes the relation between strategic, operational, and tactical. Single-use plans. They are meant for a single goal and for a unique non-recurring situation. These plans cease to exist after the achievement of the goal. The best examples are programs on a larger scale for complex situations and projects for a smaller scale and less complex situations. The best example can be a medical camp. Then we have the standing plans. They deal with recurrent situations which are most useful. They make speedy decisions possible. They are used as a ready reference. They are making delegation possible. The best examples are the policies, which are generalized plan which set broad parameters. Example also is procedures, which are nothing but chronological sequences of steps. We are all quite familiar with the SOPs. Then we have the rules. These are the simplest of the standing plans, but they are rigid and definite and detailed. They spell out clearly what to do and what not to do. Now we have seen that how planning is indeed a very simple activity, which we have always been doing, but now we shall do it more professionally. So, what are the steps involved in planning? I have played around with the keywords and used the letters of the word planning. So, here goes. First step, perceive. Become aware of the opportunities in the environment and choose people for your planning team. Next, you lay down the objectives, and these objectives, remember, should be SMART, the acronym for specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic, and time bound. Then, you have to analyze the environment, internal and external, for all available alternatives. Next, you narrow down to the best alternative and you note down clearly the final plan because it is important to communicate to all concerned. Next, you implement. You can use the 3 P's of power, persuasion, and policy to implement your plan. Then you have to notice how your plan is going about. You have to monitor the implementation because you have to get and give the feedback. Well, I hope you appreciate the word planning, the acronym for perceive, people, lay, analyze, alternatives, narrowing, note, implement, notice, and get and give. Last but not the least, the limitations of planning. Well, there is a wall everywhere. There are limitations to planning in the form of being dependent on the accuracy of the information available. Planning is, of course, time consuming. It sometimes delays the start of the activity. It is also expensive because you have to gather information, you have to test the alternatives. Sometimes it becomes inflexible. So it stifles creativity and innovation, especially at the lower levels. Organizations' resistance to change, not coming out of the comfort zone, the costs involved is often a big limitation to planning. Individual resistances, simply the laziness, the fear of failure, or the stubbornness towards change is also a big limitation. Of course, there are unforeseen environmental impacts, and sometimes there is a false sense of security, especially at the top levels. Planning तो हो गया है, अब काम भी हो जाएगा. So friends, in this video, I hope I have been able to discuss the nature, the importance, the types, steps, and the limitations of planning. Now, in the last slides, let me leave you with few of my cartoons and few of the famous quotes which I could find. Confucius said, "A man who does not plan long ahead will find trouble at his door." Well, you remember the planned party. If you don't have a plan, you will become part of somebody else's plan. And good luck is the result of good planning. And the bridge. By failing to plan, you're actually planning to fail. So planning is so important. And of course, it wasn't raining when Noah built his ark. So have your contingency plans well made and not the running shoe plan. Thank you so much for hearing me out. Next video will be even better. Thank you.